6 baby products are illegal to sell in the United States. Not discouraged. Not use with caution. Illegal, under federal law. And every one of them can still be found online right now, listed by someone counting on you not knowing the difference. Everything here comes from CPSC recall notices, the Federal Register, FDA warnings, and Consumer Reports testing. Links in the description. Number 6. The oldest ban on this list is one almost no parent has heard of. Between 1985 and 1992, the federal government recorded 35 infant deaths associated with infant cushions and pillows. Products also sold as baby beanbag pillows. In nearly every case where the position could be determined, the infant was found face down. On June 23, 1992, the Commission banned them outright, codified at 16 CFR 1500, 18A to 16. The rule is oddly specific, and that specificity matters. A pillow is banned if it has a flexible fabric covering, is loosely filled with granular material like polystyrene beads, flattens easily, conforms to an infant's face or body, and is intended for children under 1. Read that list again. Every characteristic describes something soft, moldable, and marketed as cozy. Here's the part that tells you this ban is not a museum piece. When the CPSC wrote an entirely new rule for infant loungers in November 2024, it went out of its way to state that the 1992 ban stays in force. The Commission noted the older ban covers the specific hazard of loosely filled granular material, and that those products remain banned under the Federal Hazardous Substances Act. They kept a 33-year-old ban alive on purpose. That's not a footnote. That's a warning that the product keeps coming back wearing new names. Which brings us to something a lot of you probably slept in yourselves. For decades, the drop-side crib was the default. One side slid down so you could lift your baby out without bending. Millions of American nurseries had one. Drop-side cribs with detaching side rails were associated with at least 32 infant suffocation and strangulation deaths since 2000. And since 2007, the CPSC recalled more than 11 million cribs. In December 2010, the CPSC issued a new federal standard, 16 CFR 1219, effective June 2011, which prohibited the manufacture or sale of traditional drop-side rail cribs and required stronger slats, better hardware, and more rigorous testing. And this is where the word sale gets teeth. The rule applies to the manufacture, sale, contract for sale or resale, lease, offer, or other placement in the stream of commerce of a new or used full-size crib. Used, written into the regulation. So the crib in your mother-in-law's garage, listed for $40 with the caption, "Barely used, from a smoke-free home," that listing is not a gray area, and there is no way to eyeball it. Compliance cannot be verified by visually examining a crib. The next one wasn't a design flaw, it was a decoration. In September 2021, the Boppy Company recalled about 3 million newborn loungers after the product was linked to 8 infant deaths reported between December 2015 and June 2020. They'd been sold since January 2004 for $30 to $44 at Target, Walmart, Pottery Barn Kids, and on Amazon. The CPSC's own chairman put the problem plainly. Loungers and pillow-like products aren't safe for infant sleep. The agency's acting chairman said, because babies sleep so much of the time, even in products not intended for sleep, and suffocation happens quickly. Then came the part that should have ended it. In June 2023, the CPSC confirmed 2 more deaths reported after the recall, bringing the total to 10. One infant, placed on a lounger, rolled underneath a nearby adult pillow and died of positional asphyxia. The CPSC has said the loungers have not been legal for sale since the recall, yet they kept appearing on Facebook Marketplace and other sites. So in June 2023, the agency wrote directly to Meta and Mark Zuckerberg. The number in that letter is the reason this video exists. Over the previous year, the CPSC had formally asked Meta to take down boppy newborn lounger listings roughly 1,000 times a month. 1,000 a month for one product. Number 3 is the one your own baby shower registry probably had on it. Quick honesty break, because it matters for the rest of this list. Weighted sleep sacks and swaddles are not on it. In April 2024, Amazon, Target, Babylist, and other retailers said they'd stop selling them. And Senator Blumenthal introduced a bill in August 2024 to classify them as banned hazardous products. A bill is not a law. Retailers pulling a product is not a ban. The CPSC has said it's aware of multiple fatalities associated with infant-weighted products and that investigations are ongoing, and both manufacturers maintain their products are safe. On this channel, banned means a statute or a CFR citation. Every item here has one. Number 1 has an act of Congress. They were sold as protection. Padding, so the baby doesn't bump the rails. The CPSC identified 113 fatal incidents associated with crib bumpers, reported from the start of 1990 through March 31, 2019. Congress passed the Safe Sleep for Babies Act on May 3, 2022. The President signed it on May 16, effective November 12, 2022. Regardless of when they were manufactured, crib bumpers became banned hazardous products, making it unlawful to sell, offer for sale, manufacture for sale, distribute, or import them. The definition is broad on purpose. It covers padded crib bumpers, supported and unsupported vinyl bumper guards, and vertical crib slat covers, but not non-padded mesh crib liners. So, is this a solved problem? 4 years on? In May 2026, the CPSC issued a public warning telling consumers to stop using CPLR-ECR branded crib bumpers immediately. The agency stated the product violates the federal crib bumper ban, urged people to dispose of them, and told consumers not to sell or give them away. And there's a Little Pea Shop recall covering padded bumper pads and plush vertical crib slat covers in bear, rabbit, and star patterns, because the cute shape doesn't change the physics. Number 2 is why the CPSC now says the fight has moved offshore. In 2021, the CPSC passed a rule that changed the category completely. The Infant Sleep Products Rule took effect June 23, 2022, and it went further than the Safe Sleep for Babies Act, covering flat infant sleep products too. Baby boxes, in-bed sleepers, baby nests and pods, rigid compact bassinets without a stand, travel bassinets with soft padded or mesh sides, and baby tents. In their original form, those products became non-conforming. Translation: if it's marketed for a baby to sleep in, it has to meet a federal standard. Most nests can't. Now, watch the last 18 months. October 2025. Bolivium baby loungers, sold on Amazon, recalled for violating the infant sleep product standard. Sides below the minimum height, sleeping pad thicker than the limit, foot openings wider than allowed, no stand. Baby nest was printed on the label inside. November 2025. Alinux loungers, about 1-200 units, sold on Amazon from May through October 2025 for about $40. Same standard, same violations. June 2026. Cuckoo baby loungers, sold on Amazon and the brand's own site from December 2024 through March 2026, between $35 and $70. About 355 units, manufactured in China. And Vivor loungers, sold on Vivor.com, Amazon and Wayfair from November 2024 through January 2026 for about $30. Consumer Reports described the pattern precisely in June 2026. One recalled product disappears, and days later, a nearly identical version reappears under another brand name, with listings worded to skirt the rules while still implying sleep use. The CPSC told them the same thing in plainer language. The persistent challenge is foreign direct-to-consumer sellers and illegal online sales, particularly from overseas, and it's not theoretical. An infant died in a baby lounger in February 2026, and 3 lounger-related infant deaths were reported to the CPSC in 2025. Number 1 has killed more American babies than everything else on this list combined. Fisher-Price recalled 7 million rock-and-play sleepers in April 2019, after more than 30 infants died rolling onto their stomachs while unrestrained. That should be the end of the story. It isn't. In January 2023, the CPSC said roughly 70 additional deaths had been reported since the recall, bringing the total linked to the product to approximately 100. The recall was formally re-announced on January 9, 2023, with the headline noting at least 8 of those deaths occurred after the original recall. Congress finally wrote it into law. Under the Safe Sleep for Babies Act, inclined sleepers for infants became banned hazardous products effective November 12, 2022, regardless of manufacture date, codified at 16 CFR Part 1310. The definition: an inclined sleep surface greater than 10 degrees, intended, marketed, or designed for sleep for an infant up to 1 year old. So, 2025, 3 years after the ban, the CPSC recalled multiple Honey Joy products that posed a suffocation hazard when they converted from high chairs into inclined sleepers, made in China, sold exclusively on Amazon. Read the recall title out loud, because it's a sentence no one should have to write in 2025. Violation of federal regulation for infant sleep products and inclined sleepers ban. Sold exclusively on Amazon. Recom Waters. The Commissioner's own words about it. Inclined sleepers haven't been allowed on the market for years because inclined sleep poses a risk of death to babies. Yet the agency still finds them on the market. So how is any of this possible? 3 documented reasons. 1. The volume. Over the 12 months before April 2025, the CPSC announced recalls of approximately 150,000 units of baby products based on violations of existing safety rules. The Commissioner noted the products recalled that week were made in China and sold exclusively online, a pattern he described as common in this space. 2. Whack-a-mole at scale. In 2025, the CPSC facilitated the removal of a then-record 647 listings for dangerous products from online marketplaces. In 2026, that number has already passed 106,000. That is not a sign the problem is shrinking. 3. The platforms fought the responsibility and lost. On July 29, 2024, in a unanimous vote, the CPSC determined that Amazon was a distributor of defective products sold by third-party sellers through Fulfilled by Amazon, and therefore bears legal responsibility for their recall, covering more than 400 use-outer products. Amazon had argued it was not a distributor and bore no responsibility for those products. A final order followed on January 17, 2025, laying out how Amazon must notify purchasers and the public. The federal ban was never the weak link. The checkout page was. 3 minutes tonight. Search every baby item you own at CPSC. Gov.dar recalls. Free. No account. And if you find something dangerous for sale, report the listing at Safer Products. Gov. That's the database those takedown numbers come from. For anything about your specific child, reflux, positioning, a product a relative swears by, That's a conversation for your pediatrician, not a comment section, and not me. And the rule that covers everything on this list: the safest place for an infant to sleep is on a firm, flat surface in a crib, bassinet, or play yard. Fitted sheet only. No blankets, no pillows, no padded bumpers. 3 things worth keeping. 1. Banned in the United States includes resale. Federal law prohibits selling products subject to a recall, and the crib standard explicitly covers used cribs. The garage sale is not a loophole. 2. A product being available is not evidence it's legal. 150. Susu, 0 units of baby gear were recalled in a single year for violating rules that already existed. 3. Softness is the marketing. Firm and flat and boring is the standard. Go check CPSC, Govuptri recalls. Then tell me in the comments which of these 6 you didn't know was illegal. Subscribe if you want the next one early. We read every CPSC recall notice, so you don't have to. Next video: the car seat mistake that voids the crash rating on 3 of the best-selling models in America. Every ban on this list was written the same way. Someone's baby died, a report was filed, and years later, a lawyer chose the wording. The rules aren't ahead of the danger. They're a record of it.